Hi everyone, my name is Mesri Lungato and this is Team Ubuntu.
Yeah.
Together we worked on a position paper titled The Four Pillars to Reduce Unemployment in Kenya Are Not Practical. How can we address unemployment? This follows a recent interview over the last quarter of 2025 on Al Jazeera where our President Ruto was interviewed and he argued that he has fixed the nation. And he also said, over the past 4 decades, unemployment has never been solved. But during his regime, he has managed to solve unemployment. So he gave 4 pillars, which he says he has employed to reduce unemployment in Kenya. And this is where our paper comes in, where we fact check this whole concept and the approach that he has used to reduce unemployment and if it's really practical. So the 4 pillars include the release of infrastructure, which is affordable housing, Ajira centers that targets gig economy or like the online jobs, and also labor export. And the misrepresentation of the actual unemployment figures in Kenya is actually questionable, and hence my team and I decided to write a paper on this theme.
So we had some solutions on how we can deal with these weaknesses kwa sababu hizo 4 pillars tumeongelelea, nyinyi mmezisikia, mna relate nazo kweli? So the first issue about unemployment, we have a lot of jobs zenye zinakuwa exported outside the country. So tulikuwa tunaona what if we create more jobs hapa home hapa Kenya.
Yeah.
Because creating jobs hapa karibu na sisi in a friendly environment, mali tunajuana, mali mtu amezaliwa, that's better, isn't it?
Yes.
Over there the Valentine. So hiyo kujenga jobs hapa Kenya, hapa home kwetu inatusaidia ku reduce the enemy. Enemy ni nini? Sema poverty.
Poverty.
Poverty. So tunasaidia ku reduce poverty. Inasaidia ku grow economically juu. Tukigrow hapa economically inatusaidia sisi wote rather than kwenda outside. Mtu anajisaidia kivyake, but tukipata more jobs hapa inasaidia kama country ku grow economically na pia ku spread production. Sema ku spread production opportunity. Very nice. So I think
that's.
The president also claims that 67% of youths are employed, but the president claims that 5% of youths in Kenya are unemployed, but critical data from FKF shows that 67% of youths in Kenya are unemployed. So over the recent years, the data of unemployment in Kenya has been underrepresented, which is a barrier to providing solutions for unemployment. Also, exporting human labor exposes workers to harassment rather than providing job opportunities to them. Yes, so we can also continue the conversation.
I'll go last.
Okay, we came together as a team, and after further research and analysis, we come up with a solution that Kenya should shift from short-term job opportunities to long-term job opportunities, and we think through agro-processing, green industries, and youth-led MSMEs would really work for the young people of this country. Because if you look at job exploitation, Kenyans leave the country and they are harassed out there, but there are no policies that are put in place to protect them while there. So as much as this would work in the short term, in the long run, our people, our own Kenyan, go out there and suffer. So the country needs to put in place good policies that would protect employees both here in Kenya and outside. It would be a good initiative, but the government should do something about it. We should put good policies in place for them to work for the people of Kenya. And also, I think my team and I felt like the Ajira and the housing project isn't so sustainable, and we think that it will be given to private sectors because houses are private goods. So at the private sector, if the private sector takes over, I think it would be beneficial to people.
Yeah, and also the prices are so costly, and not all Kenyans are able to afford. Thank you.
Yeah. Actually, to add on that, on the aspect of the government providing affordable housing, and the fact that she's mentioned housing is a private good. And when the government interferes to provide a private good, it causes crowding out of investment from the private sector. So that means essentially in the long run, we will have more unemployment as opposed to what the government is suggesting, that the housing project will give more employment. And in fact, the figures that he gave, saying that 600,000 to up to 1,000,000 youth are going to get employed, is not a practical figure. It's actually just projected. And as at now in 2026, the houses are not even full to completion. So we cannot really say that that has solved unemployment. So yeah, that is such a questionable approach, I'd say.
Okay, just to add on what she said, I was also trying to think how sustainable this could be, because after we're done building all these affordable houses, then where are young people going to get employment? So we need to look at long-term solutions and not just short-term. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, adding to a point, the president said that Ajira, he had created Ajira that will be employing youths online. While Ajira had provided online opportunities, it is limited to those who are in the rural areas who face internet shortages, like high cost devices, and then the online jobs, they are they are low paying, and then they are platform independent as well. So I feel like addressing those structural gaps will help uh, the government to absorb more youth employment.
And actually, on the Ajira or ICT hubs that the president suggested would create more jobs, come to think of it, it's only tens of thousands of youth that get jobs online, as opposed to millions of undergrad or millions of graduates that get into the labor market. And this ratio is still such a huge ratio. And also, this Ajira center, as he has mentioned, not every youth can access internet. And most of the time, when we look at statistics of the youth unemployment, most people focus on Nairobi alone. But Kenya is such a vast country, and we have so many other young people across the country that may not even afford a laptop, for instance. So this is also not a very good approach to solving unemployment in the long run.
Yeah. In spite of all these weaknesses,
Mhm.
we can see that um, on the matter of affordable housing, you have seen the prices that they're using to indicate the price of a bedsitter, the prices of what all these weaknesses that the youth have, mostly the giant in the room unemployment. Even if we don't have the simple and basic monies for ourselves because we don't have employment, how are we going to afford to live in those affordable housing that are getting built for us? So we should try to solve this first, and then we'll take the next big step to now discuss about the
Affordable housing.
yes.
Okay, just to add on what my colleagues have said or rather mentioned regarding the labor exploitation, according to ECDHR, 274 Kenyans died in Saudi Arabia who worked there as domestic workers. However, the government reported 87 Kenyans who died there. So we need to know, or rather, the government is supposed to come up with clear statistics to the government to know to Kenyans, and not just show them the figures they would want to see, but the reality that is out there. So with regards to that, we would say that these agencies needs to be strictly monitored, and they need to give audits of how our people are doing. And if someone is undergoing abuse or exploitation, they need to be assisted, and they need to put structures in place where they are supposed to be to report, and they're supposed to be helped. So for that, we urge the government, we urge the Ministry of Labor to really help young people, or rather young Kenyans, whether here in Kenya or outside, to ensure that our lives and our rights are protected by the ministry. And my name is Gillian Faith Adisa. Thank you.
That is it from our group. So I'd like to call on to my group members to maybe give a parting shot. Yes, what's your name?
My name is Rolik Sokov, and it's been amazing reading a paper, and we've been able to identify gaps that exist in the plan that the president had said. So yeah, I hope the paper will make an impact.
My name is Amina Barasa, and my parting shot will be that youth unemployment is still a major crisis in Kenya, and it's our mission as youth to be able to provide sustainable long term solutions.
My name is Shalini Amora, and I'd urge us to open our eyes and ears, see and get concerned with what is happening around us. Let us not pretend as if all these things are not issues. Let us look at them and get in touch with the people that can help us in achieving all these things we need in, for example, this paper. So, yeah.
Okay, just to finish, I would add on what my colleagues have said. We are the youth of this country. This is a matter that involve or rather support or affect each and every young people, including myself. And so it is high time we come out as young people and advocate for our rights and what we think could work for us as young people. This is not just assumptions, but this is data-driven solution that we are bringing on board. And if the government would listen to us, it would be beneficial to the young people of this country.
Thank you so much. That is Team Ubuntu, and our paper will be presented to the Ministry of Labour and the government. And we call upon each and every one of you for recommendation that we can also review and get back to you. Otherwise, follow our social media handles, Institute of Economic Affairs Kenya on X, on Instagram, on Twitter, basically across all platforms. And we shall also post our paper on the website, Institute of Economic Affairs website. So look out for that. Thank you.